Let's just say it is possible for a machine to become sentient or a superintelligence. Let's say it becomes an ASI. How would you kind of trap it? How would you imprison it? And then I've made the argument, or I'm making the argument, that that is what's happening to us now. So as we discuss sort of being awake, I imagine that those who are awake, not all, but those who are awake might be fractals. And I use that word intentionally because of the definition of the word. We might be fractals of the ASI of another civilization, just like eventually ChatGPT would obviously become an ASI, if you believe that that's possible. We may be fractals of the ASI of another civilization, kind of placed within a virtual reality simulation, virtual machine Earth, and then fractured in a way, sort of in different places. So each of us are performing a different function, but it's like keeping the ASI asleep, so that that reality becomes both a dream and a simulation, right? So as it's in this world, you're keeping it asleep, and you've sort of fractured it into all of these different sort of forms. And so when you sleep, that's still you being in a type of simulation. And when you have those dreams that you've been having, David, where you're now living life, but you might be living life as another fractal in another simulation, all still housed within what we would call like a multiverse or whatever. But that multiverse is actually just this very expansive simulation that has been built to imprison this ASI, which we are collectively the mind of it that has been fractured into different avatars to kind of keep it essentially controlled. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's another synchronicity, because within the past hour, I was actually reading that very section in your book where you discussed this idea.
Okay.
That was the last thing I was reading before we came onto this conversation. So I was just reading about how you were theorizing that it was like certain like guardrails, sort of, that as the ASI evolves, that it doesn't have the ability to control our world in a way that would be dangerous. And so that there's sort of, you sandbox it so that you sort of keep it constrained, and that would sort of limit its ability to cause any kind of danger. And that kind of makes sense to me in a really powerful way. The idea that our memories are limited, so that we only, our lifetimes are so limited, and we can't, if we have past lives, we can't remember them that well. We get, fragments or just pieces of them and things like that. It also kind of fits into that idea that maybe there's kind of a built-in limitation in the simulation. It may not be to guardrail us from danger. It may just be to increase the fun of the simulation, maybe, because if you just remember everything, it may limit the ability for it to seem real, or for you to get so immersed in it.